Hello, and welcome back to Mirror Chunks, my Mirrored Extreme one chunk Iron Man accounts. Yes, two accounts, one in Old School and one in Runescape 3. Last episode, we left off finishing the Old School chunk and checking off a number of tasks in the Runescape 3 chunk. So, I wanted to start this episode off by looking at the Runescape 3 chunk picker map because I logged on to it and I noticed there's a couple of new tasks, mainly regarding melee and one more herb lore task, and an extra woodcutting task. So we do need to kill the lesser demon for a bunch of tasks. We need to get 25 attack to wield a black weapon, which will drop from the lesser demon, 25 defense to wear a black armor piece, which will also drop from the lesser demon. We need to get 48 constitution to get the full amount of healing from a lobster, and then we need to chop a log with the black hatchet, which also drops, from the lesser demon. Who would have thought? It also added, because of that, a couple of melee best in slot items. But other than that, nothing really has changed. Which we actually do have this, so don't worry about that. Where is it? It's right here. This mimic kill token. So this mimic kill token is a 1 in 9,999 drop from the spell wisps. So that's going to take quite a bit of grinding and really just going to town on these guys. So that could potentially be the longest grind that we have to do. So hopefully we get that going. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about these new tasks. You are going to hear me reference 70 herb lore quite a bit in the beginning of the video. I realized my chunk rules were not set up to do 1 in 16 training methods. And since the lesser demon drops a grimy dwarf weed at a 1 in 542, that would be theoretically the highest herb lore task that I could do. However, getting to 70 herb lore off of Guam's being a 1 in 51 drop that's not feasible at all. So I fixed the chunk rules, but I'm recording this after I recorded the original, or after some of the intro of this. So you'll hear me say 70 herb lore quite a bit just because of that. So, but just know that it's actually just one herb lore. And that's mainly because we just don't have a feasible way of training the herb lord to get to 70 to do the highest task. But once we do have a feasible method of doing that, we'll have to come back. That 70 herb lord will be back on the table. All right, and with this wizard, we will hit 90 rune crafting. Nice. That means we can now do soul runes. We can use the large rune pouch. I believe that means we can do the living souls as well. Yep, right there. And we can use the massive pouch, which is also a reward. So let's grab our first soul runes here. Look at that. So that's the highest tier of runes that we can get. I believe the undead soul is the next unlock at 95 rune crafting. But other than that, we've got nothing else to do until 105. So 15 levels to go. But what we are going to do is take our 37,000 points here, and we are going to teleport out of here. And we, from Wizard Phoenix, are going to get the Wicked Robe top, which is going to finish that chunk task. We will get the massive pouch as well, which will finish that chunk task. And then all we have to do left to buy is the greater runic staff in 4,000 more points. What I want to do though instead is buy a bunch of these or 1K. Okay, so maybe after we get the greater runic staff, what we'll do is we'll buy a couple of these yellow wizards teleports. They're ignore all the things I said about points in this clip, as I hadn't looked at my chunk map in the intro. One of the additional tasks was to acquire rank 1 esteem from Wizard Phoenix. Rank 1 esteem itself only costs 125,000 points, but the kicker is that you have to buy all of the ranks before it. This means we need 212,000 points to get all 10 ranks. So we won't be spending any runespan points on wizard teleports until we have a grand total of 257,000 points. The yellow wizards are so much experience per hour, and just being able to spend the excess runespan points we get on a bunch of these teleports to speed that up is going to be massive. Although I do realize we still need another 20k for the Hungry Hood. I don't know if we actually have to buy it or if we just have to earn enough to buy it. But I think that's a pretty good spot right now to stop rune crafting for a moment. And we'll go get some more prayer and magic. So I think what we'll do for magic and prayer is while we are actively playing, we will go for the spell wisps, just because we can kill them in almost nearly one hit. And that's instant prayer without having to use telekinetic grab. And then when we're just trying to AFK, I will most likely go upstairs to the lesser demon and take care of him. Since it's more magic experience, I have to pay less attention, and yeah, it just makes it easier to get some of that magic, because we're going to finish the prayer grind well before we finish the magic grind. Just some napkin math gives us like 40 to 50 hours to finish the prayer grind if we just stick on spell wisp, but roughly 400 hours of killing these guys to get to 99 magic. So not too worried about not making the prayer as much as I'm worried about the magic grind. So whenever I'm AFK, I'll swap between Runespan and the magic. What I'll probably do is every couple of milestone levels of magic, I'll swap to doing Runespan and get maybe a level or two. You know, just to switch it up so I'm not doing the same thing over and over and over again. Plus, we have a 70 Herblore grind, and we need to get those best in slot black weapons and things. What I was going to look at was how I can get my attack up without weapons. Like, can I use the staff as like a melee weapon? I don't think I'm ever going to hit these guys with just fists. There's no way. And I can't use a staff as a melee weapon like I can in the other game, right? Like, see, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Wait a second. I just had a thought. What if, can I take like this axe out of my tool belt? Hold on. Let's do the pickaxe, because if I lose, you can't remove them. Okay, so no, I can't do that either. Oh, but you know what I can do? What if I replace... Because I can get a black hatchet from the lesser demon, which I currently can use. Can I put that in my tool belt? Let's try that. Let's go kill the lesser demon for a little bit. 1K coins. Damn. I don't have that many law runes, so I'm not going to bother grabbing stuff that I don't really need. I do need that lobster, though, because one of the tasks is to get the full healing from a lobster, which requires 48 constitution, which I'm 10 levels away from. But that's okay. We need this lobster anyways. That's good that we have that. Oh, whoa. And the black two-hand sword. So that right there is not our best in slot. But it's a... Well, actually, no, it's not a best in slot anything. But I need a 25 attack to wield this, so I can't even use this yet. But that's cool. That's our first black item. However, we need the longsword and the offhand longsword. We will need the shield, and I really think if I get this hatchet, I should be able to remove the bronze hatchet. You know, maybe I should look that up before I get my hopes up, but okay. So items that are added to the tool belt, once added, they remain there permanently with the exception of pickaxes, hatchets, and mattocks, and therefore cannot be retrieved. So except for hatchets, only tools the player has the required level to use can be added to the tool belt if it added to a hatchet. So it sounds like if I add the black hatchet, I'll get the bronze axe or hatchet or whatever back from my tool belt, which means a melee weapon, which is a wild thing I would have never thought about before the update to the chunk picker tasks. Huh. Nice. Black Kite Shield. Alright, so we'll need to get 25 defense to wield this, and that will cross off the 25 defense task. Oh, of course I wasn't recording and I got it. Look at that. The black hatchet. Alright, so this... Alright, so if I'm correct, I should be able to add this to my tool belt and I'll get my bronze axe back. No. Huh. Hmm. But we can't wield this. I can add it to my tool belt, but I can't wield it. So how am I supposed to get melee attack damage if every weapon in this chunk is a magic? The lesser demon doesn't drop anything that's less than 25 attack to wield. So how am I supposed to... I mean, and punching it's just not going to be possible. Can I use a magic weapon as a melee thing? It doesn't seem so. Every single time I've tried, it just tells me no. Okay, so it turns out dropping the bronze dagger in RuneScape 3 for one chunk man is not advised because of the way accuracy works. So what we're going to do is the unthinkable, and we are going to go back to Bertha really quick, get a free bronze dagger, and then come right back to the Wizard Guild. I wasn't aware that dropping that was going to basically prevent me from doing any of the combat tasks, so we're just going to go ahead and just get that done really quick. Need to find the guard quartermaster in this cave. It is what it is, but you live, you learn, and we'll get right back into it shortly after this. Bertha Guard Quartermaster. Who is the Bertha? Is it you? Yeah, thank you. Free Bronze Dagger. Okay. So now we can go right back to the Rune Crafting Guild. And now we can do the rest of those melee tasks. Nice to get that out of the way and done scratching my head trying to figure out how I was going to get melee experience. Now we just have it, and we can knock these two tasks out, or a couple of these tasks out pretty quick. So let's get into it. Yeah, 25%. That's already way better. And just like that, our first melee kill. So we have a bit to go. Yeah, so what I want first is just a bunch of attack experience, get that accuracy up, and then go from there. But it looks like we can only do a handful of melee kills before our life is gone. But yeah, we'll knock out a couple of these levels and just go from there. All right, so now that we can start this melee grind, I think every once in a while I'll just swap it out, and we'll just grind some of the melee levels until we get to 25 attack and 25 defense. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because we got to get to 50 prayer, so killing these spell wisps is all we can do for that, because we can't melee the lesser demon upstairs. There is a offhand black longsword in my inventory, which I will show a clip of me obtaining on mobile in classic wizard chunk fashion of just showing you me telegrabbing it from the kill, because I'm really good at that. So we'll just work on these first couple of levels here. Hopefully we can get our attack up quite a bit so we can actually start hitting these guys. But we also have to kill quite a bit of these in order to get the that mimic kill token. It's going to take, it's a 1 in 9,900 and something chance. So we're going to kill roughly 10,000 of these little spell wisps. So might as well get any kind of experience we can from them. Nice. That is 40 Constitution, so only 8 more levels until we can get this lobster out of our inventory and complete a chunk task for getting the max healing from it. Nice. All right, and with this next kill, we should be getting 25 attack, which will let us wield our offhand black longsword that we got. And I think after that, I'm going to go try to get the main hand black longsword to just speed up the defense grind to equip the kite shield. And there we are, 25 attack. Boom. Offhand black longsword. You may not like it, but this is what peak chunk man looks like. But that's a chunk test complete. 25 attack and wield a black weapon. So let's go quickly get another one. Oh, well, hopefully quickly. I forgot I can kill this guy so much faster if I just equip, the much better staff I have in my inventory. I think I will take the grimy irrits. So I will eventually need to do herb lore. And any herbs is good herbs. I would love to change this drop counter to drops instead of pickups. But since I've picked up every impious ash from all of the spells I've killed, I want to just see how many I kill before 50 prayer. which we're at 31 now. We're pretty close. In fact, I could go kill 4 more to get to 32 prayer. Um, so we might do that as well. But just mixing it up, trying to get the best in slot gear from this guy, and also the grimy Guam would be nice. So that way we can just kind of focus on getting 25 defense and then going back to rune crafting and magic. Oh my god, yes! Nice! The black longsword. That is our best in slot melee weapon. So that means we, I think, have almost everything from this guy that we need. Right? So we've got the black longsword all done. What else do we need from this guy? Oh, we need the grimy Guam. But let's see. These together, I think, are the same. They total the same. So I think the difference is really just the attack rate. So we'll do some comparisons, see how fast it takes me to kill either with both. But look at that. Oh, that's so much cooler than. Why does Grey's Egg get in my way no matter what I do?
We got the rune. Get out of my way, Grey's Egg.
But this is so much cooler than the bronze dagger we had before. I mean, it's not as cool as the two-hander. The two-hand just looks so dope. But it's technically, I think these are better. So let's try to get this Guam really quick, knock off that last, second to last chunk task that we need for this lesser demon for. Oh, whoa, I'm definitely taking that. Loop half of a key? That's a pretty nice drop. Nice. Oh, dude, that's a grimy Marintil. That's one off of the herb that I actually need to complete the last task. Bummer. That's okay. We're getting magic experience, so I can't complain. I'm sorry. Is that 72 magic logs? What the fuck? It'll help the fleshing and fire making grinds later, so that'll be nice, I guess. Ooh, 55 magic, which means now we can cast high level alchemy and get the full price of these. Yay. Yay! I got a grimy Guam, which means we can clean this and check off another chunk task and go back to murdering things downstairs. This defense grind is going so much faster than the attack grind. Oh my gosh, this is insane. We'll be at 25 no time. These defense levels flew by. And I mean absolutely flew. I think it took me a couple of days to get attack up to 25. You just get better melee weapons, your accuracy doubles, and boom, just like that, your 25 defense, and you're wielding a black kite shield, which crosses off another chunk task. So, we only have a handful of chunk tasks left. Now we are done with all the melee grinds, so I'm going to unequip all the melee gear. We will deposit said melee gear and continue to train our magic. Goodbye, best in slot melee gear. It was fun to have you. And so we'll just continue to kill the spell wisps and get our prayer up. But that's where we'll end today. Sorry for the RuneScape 3 heavy episode. Next episode, we'll check in with the old school Chunk and see how he's doing. Hopefully only a couple more episodes left until we're rolling a new Chunk. Thanks for watching.